Hello, Meoni here, and welcome back to another video for Final Fantasy XIV. More patch 5.4 coverage coming right at you with a brand new minion that you can get via bicolor gemstones. So in particular, we're over in the Crystarium, and what you're going to need is 400 bicolor gemstones. You can check how many you've got by clicking on Travel, clicking Shared Fate, and you can see in the top right how many you have. To get bicolor gemstones then, you need to do fates in any of these zones. These are Shadowbringer zones, so Lakeland, Amarang, Ilmeg, Colucia, Raktika, Greatwood, or the Tempest. Simply go do fates, complete them, and you will get gemstones. You even get some gemstones for failure, as long as you actually take part in them. Once you've actually unlocked all of these, you will unlock two other vendors, one of them in Yulmore, and one of them in the Crystarium. So that's where we are today. We're going to go over there. If you're wondering where the Crystarium one is located, basically it's in Musica Universalis, which is just south of the Crystarium Aetheryte itself. And you'll see it's over here, near the repair vendor person. We're looking for Gramsol. There he is, Gramsol. Now Gramsol, if you talk to him, he will offer a bunch of stuff. If you tick the show only recently added items, you will see that the only new item added, in fact, to the Others tab of the Crystarium Bicolor Gemstone Trader is the Amaro Hatchling for 400. Now, 400 isn't actually too hard to get. You can get about 100 in, let's say, 20 minutes. So you're looking about an hour to 2 hours of grinding, depending on where you grind and how many people you have with you defeating those fates. The more people you group with to get this done, the faster it will happen. So let's actually go and purchase this, and we'll go and see what he does together, shall we? Alright, here you are, rejoining me in Vokeldorf, which I probably butchered the name of, which I thought would be a good place as any to film the little Amarro, because this is where Seto and his dear friends do happen to be. There's Seto in the background, which is obviously, Ardbit's Birderino. So let's have a look at the Minion Text for this then and summon it. I am told this is an absolutely adorable minion. So what we're on? We're on page 12. This is my 370th minion. It says, summon your Amaro Hatchling minion. It may make a fine steed if you live long enough to see it reach maturity. Oof. Oof. That's a bit of an oof right there. There he is, look. How adorable. How adorable are you? Oh, he's so cute. Okay, that's awesome. We'll look more at the model in just a second. It says, this infantile Amaro's wings are not yet strong enough to lift it more than a ilm or so off the ground, try as it might. Given enough time around people, it may gain the gift of speech, but with you for a master, that process may be somewhat delayed. Of course, referencing the fact then that Ardbit basically was talking to Seto all the time. Seto eventually learned how to speak the human tongue. Our character is not voiced and nods to everything, which is why they're implying that. The hidden text then, if you highlight over the leather patch, you can do this on any minion or mount, by the way, says, oh, how I envy the Amarro. In all of creation, no animal is so pure, so perfect. A quote there of Bethric. Now then indeed, let's have a look at this particular minion. What we should do, though, is resummon you, so that you're not going straight into your idle animation. And then we'll zoom into you, and we'll hide my character. This is how we usually do things, by the way. Usually a lot of this is off camera, but here we are. So let's have a look at this boy then. Look at him, he's adorable. Let's do some pans around him a little bit. Aww. Now, obviously, I've got the Amaro mount. Now, the mount in particular is for getting pretty much everything to level 80, which took me quite a while. But, yeah, in terms of combat classes at least, I think this is awesome. Now, we tested some interactions last night with two Amaros, and we tested it with the Ardbit minion as well, and sadly there is no interactions with the other minions, as far as I can tell, apart from looking at each other. So that's a missed opportunity from Square there. I thought they might have implemented something with Ardbit, but since Ardbit was from the Rising event, I suppose that opens up all sorts of questions, considering the fact it will eventually be on the Mog Station cash shop, most likely, like other Rising items will usually the following year after they've been out. This one then, perfect, downscaled model. They had the high resolution model from it being an enormous mount, so it's not really surprising to me that they've kept a lot of that texture quality. It doesn't look squished, it looks quite smooth, and he's definitely one of the most adorable minions they've added in Shadowbringers. Is it my favourite? Probably not. No, there's quite a few on the list that they've added in Shadowbringers that have just blown my mind. But I think that the storyline behind the Amarro, and especially Seto, as they're referencing in the Minion Text as well, is just absolutely incredible. I would highly advise you guys to get everything to 80 on combat rolls and go and actually do the quest line. We did a video on it before, but it's very heartwarming, very touching, and I hope you grab yourself a box of tissues. Lots of onions were cut in the process of making that storyline, I can assure you. Let's go out of G-Pose then, and we're going to try it without the Mammoteer title on. So no pet collection titles. We're going to do our handover. Okay, cool. He's a pretty behavior, what do you call it? Obedient. That's it. Obedient minion. So handover emote will get him to feed from your hand, sort of like pecking around like some crazy bird. Or like maybe he's a rave and he's just nodding his head or something. A pet emote will get him to do his idle animation. Absolutely fantastic. Let's take a wee look at that in better quality, as it's started to rain in the game. Can't really do anything about that. Why does it always rain when I make videos? I don't know, but it's nothing we can do anything about. So there we go then. So the pet emote is what triggers his idle animation. He will do this naturally as he's walking around without your interactions. But if you pet him, he will jump up in excitement. He loves the attention, clearly, as he's flapping around. He's trying to learn how to fly. Look, he's flightless at the moment. He's like, I'm a dodo, I want to fly. He's flapping his tiny little wings. Try as he might. One day, eventually, he will probably fly. Maybe this is our good opportunity. Maybe in like a couple of years' time, we could have it grow into an Amarro of our own, and we could give it a name. That would be cool. But there we go. One of the cutest minions, I think you'll have to agree, in the entire game. And 400 bicolor gemstones, a bit of a grind, not too bad of a grind, and freely obtainable in the game without too much of a prerequisite. I would definitely advise doing the bicolor gemstone stuff anyway and unlocking the two vendors, the Crystarium and your more, mostly because of all of the other amazing stuff they've added in the past, and the likelihood is that they'll continue to add stuff throughout the entirety of the latter half of Shadowbringers. We've got 5.5, remember, and so on, so it's very likely they continue with the bicolor gemstones thing, and I can't wait to see what they come up with next. But yes, what an adorable minion. Let me know if you've got this one yet, if you plan to get this one, especially after seeing it in the video. I think it's absolutely adorable, and I wouldn't be surprised to see more people doing fates as a result. So go out there, join some friends, do some fates, and get yourself an adorable little flightless Amarro today. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you all next time. Look at him flap. Oh, he's so happy. He's so adorable.